Hey everyone, today I want to talk about housing crisis that's been affecting millions of people across the United States and policies proposed by our president-elect Donald J. Trump. Did you know there's about a 4.5 million homes shortage nationwide? I'd like to share my thoughts on why this is happening and the policies that could impact the housing market moving forward. First off, there's been a slight improvement in the construction of new homes. For instance, from 2020 to the peak of housing market, 2022 and 23, there's about 20% increase in construction homes. That's a pretty decent progress, but it's far from enough to meet demand. One of the main barriers to affordable housing is regulations. Regulations include zoning rules, building codes, and labor standards. These are just some of the regulations that builders navigate during the process of developing a lot and building a house on it. On an average, as you can see, these add about 24.3% to the cost of single family houses and about 40% for multifamily units. Trump suggested cutting these regulations by half, which could significantly lower costs for buyers. It does make sense, right? But here's where it gets tricky. Construction industry relies heavily on immigrant labor. About 31% of workers are immigrants. Policies like mass deportations could create, in my opinion, a labor shortage, driving up wages. Ultimately home prices, and which falls on the buyers. And again, let's face it, construction isn't the first career choice for many Americans. About only 3% are interested in construction trades as of this survey back in 2017. And then there's a potential impact of tariffs on imported materials like lumber, right? If, as Trump proposed, if these tariffs increase by 10% or more, the housing costs would obviously climb even higher. For context, building a single family house almost costs around $390,000 on an average. Just imagine adding more to that. United States import a lot of the building construction materials from a lot of countries, including China, South Korea, and Germany. Again, another proposal involves opening of federal lands for housing construction. This kind of sounds promising, but the problem is these federal lands are in rural areas. It doesn't really help cities like New York or LA, where housing shortages are at their worst. There is another argument actually that suggests the surge of illegal immigration in the United States has driven up the housing costs, again, due to increased demand. While I don't really have a strong opinion on other arguments, this particular claim, it just doesn't sit right with me, right? Having gone through the home buying process more than once, I feel qualified to weigh in. In United States, there are no laws or restrictions preventing anyone, regardless of their citizenship, from purchasing a property. However, the process requires, how do I say it, a substantial documentation, including proof of income, a social security number, 2 or more years of tax returns, a work history, a visa, if a credit score, a passport, and most importantly, a significant down payment. Again, while it's possible to buy a property outright with cash, median price for a single family home is just north of $400,000 right now. It's hard to imagine many undocumented immigrants having that level of disposable income to put as a down payment for a new home. My final thoughts, I get it, fixing housing crisis isn't easy, but I genuinely hope Trump can deliver on this. If his plans for cutting regulation costs, opening up land and addressing affordability works out, it could help so many people finally get a place to call home. I'm rooting for this to succeed because affordable housing, I think, is something we all need. It's a dream for a lot of Americans. So good luck, Mr. Trump. Let's see if you can make it happen.